exactly.
So I do hope that they get found out. I hope that someone finds it on wherever these guys will have discarded it. If you work in refuse collection at all in the Leeds area, go through everything, try and find Stevie's ring, and yeah, and hopefully it'll have some prints on it from the dickheads who took it, and they'll get sorted out. That's what
It's
I
just
say.
horrible, isn't it, to lose something so important
Exactly, and so
and so unique.
Yeah, it is an absolute horror. So if anyone does know anything about it, or anyone can think of anything that can help the police in their inquiries, do get in touch with them, or yeah, please do. Okay, no, good, and finally, not a nice story, but certainly one that I'm glad we got into the rundown. Right, to pull back the curtain for everyone, we just literally ended our recording, had our little wrap-up chat about what we're going to do, and then we saw the news come through that Zach Hardaker's ban has been confirmed by UK anti-doping. So let's go through that, Sarah. Wasn't planning on speaking quite so soon, but here we go. Okay, so I'll just read off the BBC website first of all, and then we'll so ex-Castleford player Zach Hardaker has been banned for 14 months after testing positive for cocaine in the lead up to the 2017 Grand Final. The fullback, who's 26, will not appeal against this punishment, which has been backdated to September when a trace of the drug was found in a urine sample. It was a failed drug test after the Super 8s game against Leeds Rhinos, who eventually beat Castleford in that Grand Final that he missed. Is now going to be banned from all sport until the 7th of November this year. At that point, he can join a new club. Well, first of all, what do you think of this, Sarah? It's obviously not the same usual 2-year ban that we've seen before.
No, I was trying to see if there was anything that explained why he was having a different length of ban. I mean, is it linked to these exceptional circumstances that they're talking about?
Well, yeah, a statement by his legal team says that he's accepted the ban and pleaded a number of exceptional circumstances for the failed test. So it says, this was a truly exceptional case where the drug use was never linked to performance enhancement. In this regard, Zach would never take any substance to achieve an unfair advantage, and we're pleased the decision recognised this fact. In the past 2 years have been an extremely difficult period for Zach, who away from the public eye has bravely battled a number of personal traumas. He has asked for his privacy, but has thanked family and close friends for helping him through this difficult period. So obviously, yeah, it hints to the wider problems, and we do know that Zach Hardaker has had a lot of demons, be it things he's caused himself to get extra attention over, or things that he's kind of gone through emotionally, kind of after his high of the treble-winning Man of Steel year, to then leaving the Leeds Rhinos and not being settled for a while, and lots of other things like that. He seems to struggle with maybe success to an extent, and it's been it's been a long time growing up, hasn't it, for Zach Hardaker?
Yeah, I mean, I personally struggle with people coming out and using personal traumas or mental health as an excuse for breaking the rules, basically. My personal experience is that I have quite severe mental health problems, and I don't go around taking drugs or breaking any other legal rules of the country to deal with it. And I just think it's become a bit of an easy cop out. Oh well, my mental health was bad and that's why I've broken this rule. It's just happening too many times, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the
and I know everyone deals with it differently, but I just think, come on, let's have a ruling and let's stick to it. And okay, it might not be performance enhancing, but he's broken the rules. If 2 years is what it is, then make it 2 years.
Yeah, so obviously those guidelines of 2 years are not quite as firm as maybe we were starting to think from last year. When there was a sort of run of these kind of things. Obviously, we've seen exceptions. We talked about some exceptions when we had the Thomas Mins story come up in the last couple of weeks. We talked about the Jake Livermore from football example, and Thomas Mins already getting his case in there for his exceptional circumstances, it being the first Mother's Day since his mother sadly passed away, and so this might see a precedent set for the Thomas Mins situation. I would say, obviously, if the guidelines are malleable in in that, you can take circumstances into account to knock it down from 2 years, and obviously that's all fair and fairly assessed. I tend to agree with you that there's surely other ways within the scope of our control that we can handle these difficult times that people go through, and obviously Zach wasn't able to find a way to do that. Hopefully this draws a line under that kind of thing, and maybe, from my perspective, given that he's almost I'm very confident that he'll be playing for the Wigan Warriors in round 1 of Super League 2019, let's put it that way. Given that that's the case, obviously I hope that all this behaviour's behind him. I know that this is a topic that we'll want to dig deeper into next week. We've got a Leeds fan on who'll probably have some views on Zach Hardaker, and I know everyone will want to get in touch, so please do send in your views about what Sarah says about this, what's come out in the statement. I kind of sit alongside Sarah in terms of it does seem an easy cop out, and I don't want to diminish anyone's suffering or anything like that, but similarly like you, I've been through a lot of things in my personal experiences with myself and my friends and family that certainly hasn't taken the same path that Zach Hardaker took to deal with his problems, let's say.
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful as well by, we'll reduce the length of this band. It all becomes very arbitrary, whereas I think you are better to have a cut and fast thing, and then it's not open to claims of prejudice or anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as he gets announced that he's going to be signing for Wigan, there'll be the conspiracy theories will be running rampant, won't they, out there? But let's be clear, the ban's got nothing to do with the RFL. It's not the RFL who hand out these bans, it's the UK anti-doping who hand out these bans. And also Zach Hardaker has clearly acted within the remit of the system in what's going on. And I think the most important thing is to hope that Zach Hardaker is over these problems as an individual, as a person.
Yeah.
He doesn't cause himself any more grief. He doesn't cause other people any more grief, because certainly that's happened in the past. Even if he didn't turn up and sign for Wigan, I really hope that Zach Hardaker can fulfil his brilliance on a rugby league field and be a star of our competition for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that, as you say, that he uses these, however long left, 10 months left to actually sort himself out.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
exactly. And
make sure that he's associating with the right people. Yeah,
and rather than taking this as a win, in terms of not getting a 2-year ban, he should realise that he's still cost himself a grand final, he's cost himself a contract, he's cost himself possibly a very, very high opinion. He's cost himself within the game, he's cost himself a World Cup. Zach Hardaker has cost himself, and this gives him a good period of time now that it's resolved to focus on his future and build a better future for himself than what was developing.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone get your views in for next time on that one. As we say, we've crammed this in afterwards, and kind of immediate reaction to the news almost. I'm sure by the time next week comes around, there'll be lots more to comment on this story. So thanks, Sarah, for picking back up the phone, and I will speak to you soon.
All right, thanks.
In fact, no, we're speaking now. We're going to talk about the Super League match reviews. That's what we're going to talk about, Sarah.
Yes, we are.
I don't know how I'm going to edit this together, but I will do somehow. Super League match reviews now, sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. You can find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards, and loads more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop, and on any orders over £5, you can earn 5% cash back and also give 1% of your order value back into SLP. And to do that, you just need to put SLP discount at checkout. All the details will be on the blog after the show's been put up, superleaguepod.com, and you can see all that there. There'll be a link to Rob's Toy Shop, and you can start making some orders and supporting the show. Okay, Super League round 13 it was. Unlucky for some, and not in a joking way, as we're going to have a few injuries to touch on as we go through the games. Average attendance this week with Leeds, Hull, Wigan and St Helens all away from home was only 7,161. There's a lot of talk about the Super League table splitting into two. Also, Super League crowd capability going along with that, and there's a top six definitely and a bottom six in both categories as it stands, and that'll come clear from some of the results as well. And we start on Thursday night, as we always do, with Salford 10, St Helens 60 in front of just over 3,000, 3,105. Chris Kendall was the man with the whistle. Do you want to start on the fan views?
Yep. So Frogmore got in touch and said, dominant but bittersweet. Hopefully the Benny B injury isn't as serious as first thought. Even after being a man down from Leeds being given a red, which I thought should have only been a yellow, we were scoring almost at will. The standout moment for me in the game was the LMS line break. Take the video clip of it and hook it into my veins. And then I can't work out what that smiley's doing, but there was an injection.
It's like a bloke dribbling after injecting himself, I think, is what's going on.
Oh, is that what it is? Right,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm having to squint at it, though. Frogmore has a range of emojis that I don't think I even come close to. Okay, Paul O'Brien, POB 1976, said, Saints doing what they do best. Even with 12 men, they tore Salford to shreds. Salford looking poor tonight, thought the red card was the correct decision. So already differences over that, and I'll take Paul's view over a Saints fan's view any day of the week.
Lee Whitnell said, Saints dominated this game in every way, even in the second half with one less player. I think they would have needed at least another 2 players sent off to make this look like an even contest. Glad Barber's injury wasn't as serious as it looked.
Yep, so that's one of the potential injuries that we were going to talk about kind of off the list, because they've confirmed that it was mostly precautionary, should be okay, no serious damage to Ben Barber, which is good for, the casual observer of the sport watching him play. St David said, Saints were too fast, too strong and too good for Salford, even with 12 men. The Saints pack is laying a great platform, and Barber, Lomax and Richardson are wreaking havoc behind them. Saints fans' collective sigh of relief that Barber is fine blew the rain clouds over Bill Hingelump. Come on, you Saints.
Yep. Tim G got in touch and said, calm down, Saints. Barely got home from work and they were 20 points up. Hope Barber is okay. Great performance nonetheless. Nice to see the Ginger Pearl chip in with one at the end there.
Well, we know that he didn't, because he didn't play this week, the Ginger Pearl. Chris Whelham's not the Ginger Pearl. Ian Farrell is. Let's not mess around on these things. Okay. What were your thoughts on this game, Sarah?
Saints were just doing what they wanted, really, weren't they? They just seemed rampant over Salford. It was, I don't know whether Salford just were woefully rubbish, or whether they, so I couldn't think of a better, or whether they, I don't know whether mentally they didn't turn up or what it was.
Yeah, they certainly lacked intensity from the off, and that was amplified by the fact that Saints lost a forward and didn't bother shuffling it around so they had another man in the middle, because they didn't need to do that, because they were battering the pack from the Red Devils, even with a forward less. They were just so much more dominant and intense. At times it was looking like a training run, wasn't it, where they were just running their flawless lines, neat passing and creating a chance, and it was just that straightforward at times.
And you had no doubt at all, did you, when the sending off came? You didn't think, oh, this might make more of a game of it. You just thought, oh well, it
might slow Saints down, is what I thought.
Yeah.
Basically, I think they scored one try less in the second half than they scored in the first half, so it didn't really slow them down by much.
No.
And they even scored straight away after the red card with a play that they got wide and got outside of the Salford defensive line, who had an extra man and still couldn't cover all the space. So it speaks to like what you're saying about maybe they just mentally didn't turn up for this game. The red card, do you have any view on the red card?
I think it probably was a red card.
Yeah, it seemed like to me, had the whole of Niall Evalds' body to go at. He came kind of